Well, hello. Today's video I'm dedicating to a kid by the name of Zaid. He's in elementary school and he's been asking me questions about my worms, and this video is dedicated to you, so I hope it answers your questions. Well, let's talk about worms. I'll give you some tips on worms and things. The reason they're covered up is because they do not like light. And if there's light, they will not come up to the surface. And the sun will actually dry them out. But we come in and look around and see what's in here. The thing about worms is that they don't have teeth. So you do not have to ever worry about worms having any effect on biting you. So there should be no fear of worms. What they do when you give worms food scraps and stuff, they eat the food scraps, and that way they break it down and cause worm poop, which is also called black gold, which is this stuff here. This is what you're looking for. It has no smell. If you do your bin right, there should not be a smell. So it's really good for your gardens. Another thing with worms not having teeth, they don't actually eat the food. They eat the bacteria. So once food starts to decompose, they start to eat on the bacteria that feeds on the food scraps, and that's how worms actually eat. They do not have a gizzard, so they need grit to digest food. So things you can use for grit are things like grounded up eggshells, coffee that has been used. You can use that for grit. And you can also use sand. But like I said, the thing about worms, you have nothing to worry about. They won't harm you. And they're really good to help reduce waste inside of our landfills. Because the less garbage you have in there, the less chance of different methane gas, as they call it, to put back into the environment. So I will show you my other worm bin. Worms multiply every 3 months if you have their area that they live in good conditions. They will multiply every 3 months. So like say for example you put 100 worms in something, within 3 months you should have double the population of about 200 worms. So they multiply really fast. And also a thing about worms is the worms are neither male nor female. So every worm is capable of producing other worms because of their genetics. When you feed worms, you don't want to put like dog waste or cat waste or any of that stuff in bins, because that's not good for it, or human waste. But you can feed them fruits, scraps, vegetables, not really the onions, depends on what type of bin you have, but if you have a bigger bin you can put more things in it. But you can feed them a little bit of oranges, but not a lot, just things like that. And for them to breathe, their skin has to have moisture, so it's always good to have your bin the consistency of a wet, wrung out sponge, so not too wet. And they have to have a type of environment where they can survive. So you can start they call it the bedding. You can start it with some shredded paper, newspaper, not the glossy section. You can use cardboard, but it has to be regular brown cardboard. Don't use something that was in a box that has like the textured film. Like say for example, it's got a waxy film for the box to make it look good. Don't use that. So just shred up some paper, shred up some cardboard, put your worms in there. They'll start to reproducing and having more and more worm babies. So I'm going to cover this one up and I'll be right back. Another amazing thing about worms is that they can eat half their body weight in food a day. So if you have, say, about 2,000 worms, that's equal to about 2 pounds, they will eat 1.5 pounds of food within a week. And this one I'm going to feed. I'm going to put some, give them some eggshells, some bananas, pepper, give them some spinach. And when I feed them, they should all be started coming on this side to eat their food. Then I just cover it up to help prevent other critters to get in there, like fruit flies and stuff like that. So I'm going to not disturb these worms for another week and let these guys eat. I'm going to cover this back up. Another thing about worms is when you feed them, food starts to decompose. So if you put too much food in there, your bin could get really hot. But you also have to have a place where if it gets hot on this side, the worms could be able to move to another spot where it is too, where they have a chance to not be heated up with the scrappage. So these worms are going to be feeling good. A lot of food for them to eat. So I won't have to feed this one for a while. A thing you don't want to also put in your worm bins to feed them is plastic. You don't want to put plastic because plastic is not good. Just throw that in your recycle bin. And let's see, that's about it for now on this part. Well, here's a few other tips I forgot to say in the video. Never overfeed your worms because too much food, they won't be able to eat it all. So it'll rot and it'll make your worm bin smell. So the less food you feed them, the better. And 2, never put a lot of water into your bin because your worms could drown because they breathe through their skin, and that's how worms survive. So Zaid, I hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And you have a great day, bud. Bye.